Proof positive. It's coffee, kids. It's always coffee. Welcome back to The Takeout. Political panel continues. Ameshia Cross, Tricia McLaughlin. Ameshia, I want to pick up on when we were talking before we went to break. You mentioned the housing legislation. The president had a signing ceremony ready to go at the White House. People were going to come over to it. Reporters were going to cover it. And he canceled it.
Yeah, and I think this shows us a few things. The president's out of touch with where the American reality is. Housing affordability is a top-line item for the majority of people across this country, regardless of whether they are in red, blue, or purple districts. And it also showcases that the president, even when giving a bone in bipartisan legislation, he doesn't care about the midterms.
Tim Scott, South Carolina Republican, not a liberal, a conservative. French Hill, North Carolina, not a liberal, conservative. They're both for this. They helped put together the bill. Yes, other Democrats did as well, but they signed off on it. So did Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House. President still canceled it.
Absolutely. And for Tim Scott, he actually held several events last week talking about this bill. I went to one of them. He's been talking about housing for a very long time. For the president to cancel it showcases, again, two things. He doesn't care about what the Americans need.
Go ahead, Tricia.
And he's also somebody who really doesn't care about
Go ahead.
Let's remember the facts. This is a little bit of theater. He's going to sign it. He has 10 days.
Or he's not going to veto it and let it come.
He's not going to let it be a pocket veto, which would happen if he didn't sign it within 10 days. He is going to sign it. This is a bipartisan win. This is a piece of legislation that the White House has worked incredibly hard on as well.
And Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, ballyhooed yesterday on social media.
Yes, and this is something that the White House absolutely wants signed, but this is about leverage. Let's keep in mind
he doesn't want to sign more than he wants to upend voting rights.
I don't think that's accurate by any means. I think that the president, as well as many members of the legislature, view that the SAVE Act is going to have generational consequences that the American people need to safeguard our elections. But more than that, you also have to keep in mind the relationship that's happening right now with Senate Republicans and with the president.
It's as testy as it has been. It is as testy as it's been in this second term.
What just happened yesterday with the Iran resolution?
Right.
Of course.
They lost by 2 votes.
Well, McConnell and McCormick were not there. So
yeah, where was McCormick? Where was Senator McCormick? He was with the president in Pennsylvania, and the president calls him out today. What were you doing?
Correct.
Well, I was with you, sir.
Let's go with this farce that he's not going to sign this piece of legislation. Of course he is. Of course he cares about this, but he also
can you apply leverage, Tricia? And this is a serious question. When you don't have the votes and the Republicans in the Senate are not going to abolish the filibuster. Those are the only 2 outcomes, and they're not going to happen.
I think it's bringing everybody to the table, which is what they did today. It sounded like there was a spirited conversation, a spirited meeting today.
The throwdown.
Well, sometimes that's what you need. That's what family needs.
Ameshia?
It's just not going to happen. This is a president who does not like taking it on the chin. It's something that he is going to lose on. He knows he doesn't have the votes, but he is going to go down fighting. Right now, with all the redistricting efforts across the country, if you're already redesigning maps to increase your leverage, do you also even need the SAVE Act? This is ridiculous. The president knows that his policies are not popular with the American public. He sees his polls in the tank. And at this point, he just wants to jerry-rig the elections to change the outcome.
When you look at polling data, which I mentioned in the open of the show, Gallup shows that among Democrats, socialism has a higher favorability rating than capitalism. Does that disturb you?
I think that most people don't know what socialism actually means. What they do know is that their pocketbooks are in trouble. What they do know is that layoffs are happening.
That's a referendum question for are they happy or not economically.
Exactly. This is more of an economic bellwether than If you ask most people on the street what socialism is, they can possibly name a country they've seen socialism in, but they cannot say the principles of what it actually means. What they do know is that they can't afford food. They can't afford utility bills. They need help with housing. That is what matters to people the most out here. And I think that anything beyond that or trying to narrate this in a philosophical belief system is problematic because Americans have told us.
Tricia, jump in.
That's an indictment of our American education system, of the civic system. If you don't know that socialism has failed every time that it's tried, that is a huge problem for the Democrat Party. It shows where the leadership of the Democrat Party will be. If you are for open borders, if you are against prison for murders, if you think that capitalism is a failed system, that's going to be
your life progressing in capitalism. You can see it as a failed system. People can't afford to feed their children. People are having less children, not because they don't want them, but because they cannot afford childcare.
Yes, and that was happening under the Biden administration, and that is why.
I'm not saying it's a new fear. I'm saying it's a legitimate fear.
Do you believe socialism is the answer to that?
I don't believe in socialism in general. What I do believe in is taking care of the American people. And what it appears is that individuals are supporting candidates who believe in policies that take care of the American people.
It's an indictment on your party, the fact
that I think that my party is speaking towards things that are affordable.
Well, that's socialism now. Shouldn't they
making
have
things affordable? Is socialism? Making sure families can afford to live is socialism?
If I can finish, that poll just showed that your party said socialism is better than capitalism, 66%. That is an indictment on your party. The only solution is socialism in order for things to be more affordable. That is a problem if your leaders cannot bring solutions.
Tricia, you get the last word. You see, ladies and gentlemen, what happens at the tavern? Things get very, very real.
Spicy.
Ameshia Cross, Tricia McLaughlin, thanks for having me.
Thank you.